Hello everybody, and today we're going to be talking about UGC. Now I know this topic has been heavily covered, but today we're going to be talking about a new situation that just recently happened on Twitter. And of course, it's involving someone who shouldn't even be inside the STAR program in the first place. And also we're going to be talking about another situation with UGC where they stole assets. Now if you guys think that's interesting and you want to see more, make sure you guys go ahead and hit the like button so more people can see it and know what is truly going on inside the UGC and why some people need to be removed from the program and some people shouldn't have it in the first place. So our first UGC situation is on Twitter, and this person named CYL or Celia, I really don't know how to pronounce her name, but let's just call him C. Well, C on Twitter said, "I found that there is a star creator that bots our UGC items." And of course they provide proof, and the proof is basically like the records of who bought it, and as you can see it's just a whole bunch of noobs, just random account names. None of them look real and you can tell that it's botted. Of course there is some real people mixed into it, but mostly as you can see they're just bots. Like just checking out some of these names, you can see First Hand, Left Hand, Pinky Porps, Jim Kaneko. It's just random names that make absolutely no sense that are obviously bots. Now, of course, that's not the only proof that they had. They also posted another tweet and it said, "Julian Roots is inside of the STAR program and it has uploaded 3 or 4 items so far. Most of the accounts are in these groups. Julian Roots is the second group." And then they go on to say, quite curiously, a few hours after I posted this, the first group was closed. Julian Roots left the second group. The funds on the second group were made non-public, approximately 32,000 Robux before private, and the bots removed most of the items from the inventories. Now they actually posted the links to the groups, and the first group was Tsunami Wave. Now this group was completely closed, so there's not really anything I can do to look this up or anything. However, the other group was not closed, and it was called Jun Crown Clothing. Now, of course, Jun Roots used to be inside of this group, and he apparently left it, as the person said inside of the tweet. Now, you can see that it's called Jun Crown Clothing, so that can be connected, because his name and this name are pretty similar. They both have Jun in them, and what's the chances of that? And of course, all the people that I showed before, all the people who bought it that were like bots, just all baking hairs, all removed the item from their inventory. So this is extremely fishy. Now, of course, all this is alleged, but for right now, this is extremely fishy, and personally, I do think he botted it. Now, there's a ton of replies to this tweet, but one that really sticks out to me is the developer of Mad City posted a reply, and it said, "I'm not saying you're wrong about this. In fact, you're probably completely correct. I'd just like to see proof that it was them. Twitch streamers like myself are followed botted daily, and it's not me following botting myself. Who's to say somebody else isn't harassing him?" Yeah, I agree completely with that statement, because as you guys know, people on Roblox get follow botted, and people will follow bot YouTubers, etc., and just people they don't like to try to get them banned. Now, usually it doesn't happen because Roblox knows that people get follow botted, but they usually do that to try to get them banned, so Roblox thinks they follow botted. Just like if somebody really didn't like this guy, they could send a whole bunch of bots to buy his UGC items and basically stage the fact that he botted his UGC item, and that could get him removed from the STAR program potentially. Now, Canelican actually applied to the developer Mad City, otherwise known as Evan, and Canelican said, "I'll say it's mildly convenient for all the evidence to have disappeared from Roblox since these call-out posts. If somebody is going out of their way to hide evidence, then it shows me that they're guilty of something." Now, of course, if somebody did actually want to bot his thing to get him removed, of course, they probably would leave all the evidence there in order for Roblox to remove him from the STAR program or remove from the UGC program. They wouldn't just delete all the evidence so nothing can happen. So really, it's conflicting, and it's leading towards the side that he is guilty and he did bot it. Not only that, but since, of course, UGC items cost Robux, it would make sense that all these bots were inside of these same groups, so he could pay out the Robux to them so they could buy it automatically. Now, of course, it's really easy to mass pay out people, and more specifically bots, and this is probably what this guy did if he did do it, which would make sense why he would leave the group, because he would want to remove himself from all the evidence, and now he paid out all the bots. Now, I of course did some research on this guy, and it turns out he shouldn't even be inside of the STAR program, and I haven't seen anybody else even mention that. Now, of course, I'm not one to want people to get kicked out of the STAR program, but this guy literally should not be doing this if he is in there, and he shouldn't even be in there in the first place. And all he's doing is bringing the STAR program down when its reputation is already like extremely bad with the UGC program. But why should this guy not be inside the STAR program? Well, if you go to his YouTube channel, you can see that he has 250 50,000 subscribers, so he's basically at the mark and he gets enough views and everything. But then you realize it was 6 months and 16 days since he's last posted a Roblox video or even a video in general. So of course you might already know where I'm headed by now, but the thing is, if you haven't posted a Roblox video in 6 months, you can be terminated from the STAR program. Now, of course, if you check the rules, it is not stated there as far as I can see, but if you actually check the background and the history of the STAR program, you can see that 2 people were actually removed from the STAR program for not posting a Roblox video in 6 months. Those 2 people were, of course, Sally Green Gamer and Zold, I'm pretty sure it's pronounced, but they both were completely removed from the STAR program. Here's their email that they got removed, and as you can see, it says, "We are writing to let you know that we'll be formally removing the Zold channel from this video STAR program within the next 2 weeks because little to no Roblox content has been published on it over the past 6 months." So back to John Root's channel. So he has not published in 6 months and 16 days. So technically, he should be removed by now. So even if none of this is true, he should still be removed from the UGC partner program because he's not a STAR creator, and second, if this is true, then he should be removed anyways. Now let's move on to our next topic. So of course, John is a person who has UGC access. However, they are not a video STAR creator member. So this is actually a person who just got UGC access. Now, a ton of other people deserve this, and he got it. So what did he do? So on Twitter, he said, "UGC concept. What would you prefer it as, a pet or a hat?" Now this tweet alone, there was nothing wrong with it. It got over 100 likes and it did extremely well. However, it's fine until you realize this entire asset is just stolen. The person who actually made it was Jay. Now, I don't know actually how to pronounce their name, so I'm just going to call them Jay, but they're planning on making a DMCA takedown on the tweet. However, I cannot believe somebody actually stole an asset on Twitter. I kind of expected this from maybe a STAR creator member that nobody knew, but not from an actual person who got accepted into the program. There's so many people who actually deserve to be accepted, and people like this get accepted, and it's just so sad. Now, when asked about this on Discord, as you can see the screenshot, they just said John, and then they sent the tweet where it says this design is by Nell with the model stolen from Sin. Now, of course, then they said, "You better give me some explanation before I assume the worst things about you. It doesn't seem to be the only hat." Now, John replies saying, "I was just taking our ideas from art platforms," which is the dumbest response I've ever seen. Now, John has done this in the past, and he continues to do it. So, I think this guy should be removed from the UGC platform because, obviously, if you have to continuously steal other people's assets, I don't even know how you got accepted in the first place. Did you use somebody else's assets to get accepted? Why? Just make your own or get out of the program. Now, shortly after this was uploaded, Canadian replied to the tweet and said, "I worry about this in the future of the UGC program if this ever becomes a public thing. How common does blatant theft like this occur? This wasn't even subtle. This was directly stealing models. He shouldn't even be in the program with this discovered." Now, John actually did make a public statement and he said, "I'll be contacting several artists for their approval on the items. I'm extremely sorry letting some of you guys down. I know that some of you guys will continue supporting me and some will not. This is my public statement." Personally, I think that statement was not good enough because he stole from so many artists. You can just check the Google Doc that somebody made and you can just see he stole from multiple times and asked no permission at all. It is too late for you to ask permission from people. It is too late completely. He should be removed from the UGC program and his spot should be given to somebody who actually deserves it. Now, of course, he made another statement, and in that he basically just said that he was taking inspiration and not actually trying to copy them. And of course he says some of them were original and some of them weren't. Now, let's just go ahead and take a look how much inspiration he took off. As you can see, this is the original design. Looks really good. And then this is John's design. Can you spot the difference? The only difference here is that the arms are removed, or some of them are removed, some of them are still there. How is this even inspiration? This is just slightly modifying somebody else's asset and then claiming it as your own, otherwise known as stealing. And yeah, like I said before, my opinion is he should be removed from the UGC program and somebody who actually deserves it should be put it instead of him. And that's about it. So make sure you guys comment down below your opinions. Do you think that John should be removed from the UGC program? And do you think that John Root should be removed from the STAR Creator program? Now, of course, make sure you guys like the video so more people can see it and more people can give their opinions down below because I spent a lot of time on this video. Anyways, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Like the video, comment, and Goodbye.
Got my eyes on a computer screen, trying to work my digits in. I fidget with my lettering, but never with my sentences. I pause and check the clock, and it appears at 6 a.m. again. Another night wasted or another day finished, and my mind is steady running in place. I don't want to fall asleep, cause I got so much to say, but I don't want to stay awake and keep exhaustion at bay.